Good evening and thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with Commitment 2004 coverage. There are just 100 days left until the November election for president. Democrats are gearing up to nominate John Kerry at their convention in Boston. And as ABC's Nancy Weiner reports, even though it doesn't start until tomorrow, some aren't waiting. President Bush is taking the weekend off from campaigning. He did have a moment to call fellow Texan Lance Armstrong and congratulate him on winning his 6th Tour de France. Bush's aides say he recently took up mountain biking as an alternative to running. Well, dozens of Wisconsin soldiers are enjoying their first weekend back on U.S. soil. On Friday, members of the 32nd Military Police Company arrived home from Iraq. A big party was held at Vogt Field near Madison. The soldiers spent more than a year overseas. Details of a deadly home invasion in Milwaukee. Our Letha Starin says 2 men entered her home on the 2800 block of North 34th Street around 11 o'clock last night. They demanded cash and drugs. Then Starin says one of the suspects shot and killed her fiancé, 27-year-old Antonio Thomas. We now know the name of a Milwaukee woman who was stabbed to death Friday night. Police say 35-year-old Pamela Noble's boyfriend killed her. The 41-year-old suspect fled to Madison but has since been returned to Milwaukee. We're not naming him because he has not yet been charged. 2 Illinois grandparents are accused of kidnapping their grandson and taking him out of the country. Anthony and Ethel Blake are suspected of taking their 9-year-old grandson from his home in Winthrop Harbor, that's just across the border from Wisconsin. Police believe they took him to Ireland. Well, as we mentioned, Lance Armstrong rides into the history books in France. Find out how a local bike company is helping the athlete reach another one of his goals.
Extended family.
The thing I stressed most was that we couldn't pay him, because we just don't have the finances for that kind of situation.
A Sussex man is receiving a priceless gift from a stranger. Find out what it is.
And what a treat today's weather has been.
A new festival hit Brady Street on Milwaukee's Near East Side today. The Artisan Food Festival celebrates local food makers. Tents line Brady Street from Van Buren to Farwell, featuring beer, wine, and cheese, as well as other food and entertainment. Senator Herb Kohl was there to announce a $2 million federal fund for dairy farmers. If you'd like to check it out tonight, the festival is free and runs until 8 o'clock. Well, he did it. Lance Armstrong wins his 6th Tour de France title in Paris. We'll have more on the record-breaking win coming up in 12 Sports. But first, Armstrong is winning another battle, thanks in part to some in our area. You may know that the cyclist is a cancer survivor. A cooler but still beautiful summer day. Meteorologist Lance Hale will join us with a work-week forecast and let us know when the heat will return. Plus, a story about a man giving a life-saving gift to a complete stranger. Find out what it is. You're watching WISN 12 News. Well, if you're still waiting for that feel-good story of the year, your wait may be over. WISN 12's Joe Gale shows us how a Waukesha man is offering a life-saving gift to a complete stranger. A fundraiser for NORD will be held Saturday, August 7th at Killarney's Corner in Sussex. What a fabulous story. I hope everything works out for them.
That can restore everyone's faith and a little bit of hope,
Absolutely.
I mean, just amazing.
And today was a little bit cool, but I think a lot of people would say this is a perfect day.
I think so. I mean, hard to complain. Temperatures Saturday, just an isolated thunderstorm in the forecast. Keeping a close eye on that one. I know I'm going to break a lot of hearts out there, but that is the day one Miss Jallings is tying the knot. So critical forecast there right now. Saturday, an isolated storm, possibly.
Yeah. We have some time, and there's a chance it could be wrong, right?
No. You sure?
Let's hope so.
We have time to change. Yeah.
Thanks, Lance.
Sure.
Well, in sports, Paul Molitor ignites baseball's Hall of Fame while a repeat champion lights up Brown Deer. We'll have a live report. And the Stars are out at the Milwaukee Mile for the Indy Racing League. Andy Kendi has 12 Sports next. Plus, here's tonight's lineup on ABC. You're watching WISN 12 News.
Chance to survive cancer. Now he's won more Tour titles than any other rider in the race's 101-year history. One of the greatest sports stories in history.
And the whole team finished together, didn't? I mean, at least complete.
And very fitting, because they protected him the whole
way.
Enough to get a call from the president.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for joining us for 12 News at 5:30. We'll meet you back here for a 1-hour edition of 12 News at 10 o'clock. Have a great night.
And thanks for staying up later than usual with us for this expanded 1-hour edition of 12 News at 10.
And here are tonight's top headlines. Oak Creek will hold an emergency town hall meeting tomorrow to discuss the placement of a convicted sex offender. Billy Lee Morford could be placed in a largely industrial area, but there is a church and a daycare nearby. American flags across the nation are flying at half-staff tonight in honor of former President Ronald Reagan.
He died yesterday at age 90.
20 years ago, another U.S. president was in Normandy to honor the 40th anniversary of D-Day. Milwaukee Archbishop Timothy Dolan met President Reagan several times while working at the Apostolic Embassy in Washington, D.C.
Even people that
Dolan went on to say he sees similarities in Reagan and Pope John Paul II. He says both are communicators and call forth the best in people. An emergency meeting in one local town will tell you why.
Hundreds of people are forced out of their homes as
About 500 people are evacuated from the central California coast in the path of a big wildfire. It's already burned about 6,000 acres north of Santa Barbara. Hot, dry weather is helping the fire spread. So far, no one has been hurt. A suspect is under arrest in the disappearance and murder of a Minnesota woman.
Erica Dahlquist's body was...
Are you getting enough sleep? If you're like most people, you're probably not. Experts say nearly 70 million Americans suffer from sleep disorders. Most go undiagnosed and untreated. Sleep specialists from around the world are meeting in Philadelphia this weekend to share the latest in research and treatment. Kathy. And here are some recommendations for getting a good night's sleep. Maintain a regular sleep schedule, going to bed every night and waking up at the same time every day. Limit caffeine and alcohol before bedtime. Finish exercising 3 to 4 hours before bedtime, and keep your house cool at night and eliminate noise. If you still suffer from excessive daytime sleepiness, ask your primary care physician for help. I'm not exactly sure what they'd say about working this late at night.
Well, I was going to say,
can't be good for you.
Very timely story there, given the fact it's a little after 11. We still got about 45 minutes of news.
We hope you don't go to sleep till at least 11:45 because we got a lot of good news still coming up, including another nice weather forecast.
Including the...
Thanks, Lance.
Gay marriage is illegal in Wisconsin, but it didn't stop couples from saying vows in Milwaukee today.
And J-Lo's love life is back in the headlines. Did she get married again this weekend?
A local fire department is marking a half-century of service.
St. Francis Fire Department is celebrating its 50th anniversary tonight with a dinner at the Lions Community Center. It was a chance to look at the department's history and honor firefighters past and present. All right, there's big news out of Hollywood. Entertainer Jennifer Lopez is a bride once again. Well, we think anyway. Both People magazine and Us Weekly are reporting that Lopez has married singer Mark Anthony. The magazines say the ceremony took place at J-Lo's Beverly Hills home yesterday. A spokesman for Lopez will not confirm the report, however. Lopez has been married twice before and had a long engagement to actor Ben Affleck. Anthony just divorced his first wife last week.
And she was a Miss Universe.
Oh, wow.
I believe anything coming out of Hollywood.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of ring he gave her.
It's a big
Did she give back the $1 million ring to Affleck? Who knows?
In the next half hour.
Remember 12 News this morning, tomorrow from 5 until 7.
Access Hollywood's up next. Have yourself a good night.
News at 6.
Join us. Let's build an America where tomorrow is always better than today. Thank you. God bless you.
Vice presidential candidate John Edwards tries to energize local Democrats during a stop in Milwaukee, while local Republicans are sending a different message. Good evening, I'm Patrick Palantoni.
And I'm Jessica Jallings. Our state has become a familiar host to presidential candidates. Today, vice presidential hopeful John Edwards stopped for a rally in the inner city.
12 News reporter John Atwater was there. And back in the 2000 election, President Bush lost Wisconsin by just 6,000 votes.
Today on 12 News this morning, former Congressman Mark Newman talked about what Republicans need to do to win the state. Newman says jobs are probably the #1 issue for most Wisconsin voters. 12 News reporter Kent Wainscott will have live coverage from the Democratic National Convention in Boston starting tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. We'll talk with a Wisconsin delegate who first met John Kerry when they served side by side in Vietnam. You'll hear his incredible story and what he has to say about the Democratic candidate. We'll also show you the unprecedented security measures the Wisconsin delegates will encounter, and we'll sit down with a Wisconsin congresswoman who will be in the national spotlight delivering the first keynote speech of the convention. Here at home, a Milwaukee woman is dead after being stabbed overnight.
Police call it an act of a message of peace on Milwaukee streets.
Courtesy of some local churches, about a half-dozen churches put on events like this one throughout the city. Organizers target high crime areas where there's gang-related activity, drug dealing, and other violence. There's free clothes, free food, and Bibles. They call it the drive-by tour.
It's a representation of all the drive-by killings that have taken place in the city of Milwaukee. And we come bringing life instead of death, and that's the life and love of Jesus Christ.
The next drive-by tour will be August 14th at 28th and Capitol. Greenfield police are looking for a bank robber tonight.
When a woman came running into our house with a small 2-year-old child and told us that the bank was being robbed, please call 911.
The TCF Bank on South 76th Street was held up just after 11 o'clock this morning. The suspect fled in a black SUV. A witness says a red dye pack included in the money exploded inside the vehicle as the suspect made his escape. If you know anything about this crime, you're asked to contact Greenfield Police. Thousands of people are suing the maker of a popular prescription drug.
5 days with no sign of a missing Utah woman. Will tell you where searchers are looking today.
Find out why a memorial to the late Princess Diana was shut down just weeks after opening.
And I'm meteorologist Lance Hill.
It's a question some people may be asking. Can you become addicted to antidepressants?
One woman says her life turned into a living hell after taking Paxil, and she's not alone. As Pamela Wu of our sister station KCRA reports, thousands are now taking the manufacturer to court. Experts say if your doctor prescribes an antidepressant, you should ask a lot of questions. Also consider the risks and the benefits, and when in doubt, get a second expert opinion. One Hobby is right on track in Milwaukee this weekend. And there it is, the Lionel Collectors Club's annual convention wrapped up today. They had a chance to see the latest in model trains, add to their own collections, and check out some awesome displays.
It's like fun. You used to have Lionel trains around the Christmas tree.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yes.
Lining them, running around.
Kind of cool last night and a little bit better today.
A near record low, 53 degrees. I mean, next chance for rain Friday and maybe an isolated thunderstorm on, should I dare say, Saturday.
That would
next
not be
weekend.
good.
Of course, that's Jessica Jallings' wedding day, so
Yeah.
we're working on that one. She's already
1 week to get rid of that.
Let me hear about that.
Thanks, Lance. Good evening. I'm Jessica Jallings, in for Tammy Elliott.
And I'm Kathy Michaelby. Attorney General John.
A tragic accident this morning on a Milwaukee highway. A mother driving her 4 children to school was killed when the van she was driving left the road. It happened near Miller Park during rush hour. The woman was traveling south on Highway 41 and took the connector ramp to westbound I-94 when the van suddenly left the road. Speed and wet conditions may be to blame. 12 News reporter John Atwater was on the scene shortly after the accident happened. He has more. Grief counselors were at the school today, and later this week they'll hold a memorial service. Safety sweeps are being done at all rental housing units near the University of Minnesota campus.
A city council member there called for this. It's not too soon to start talking about it. I guess it's officially Bear Week.
That's right. The Packers take on their oldest rival next Monday in the first game at renovated Soldier Field. The Packers will have to shake off their crushing defeat in the desert, falling to the Arizona Cardinals yesterday, 20-13. Ouch! A Brett Favre interception late in the fourth quarter sealed their fate. So what about Brett? Our online question today: will Brett Favre rebound next Monday against the Bears? Currently, the non-scientific survey shows 45% of our viewers believe this is the beginning of the end for our quarterback.
A developing story out of California,
where the thought of hanging chads is prompting debate in front of a federal court. Will the gubernatorial recall election go on as scheduled? We'll have the latest. The man who offered to kill Kobe Bryant's accuser appears in court. Swiss bodybuilder Patrick Graber was arraigned on several charges, including solicitation to commit murder. He was arrested last week after he wrote a letter to Bryant offering to kill the woman, accusing him of sexual assault. Graber is being held on $1 million bail. President Bush is offering federal aid to more states hit by Hurricane Isabel.
while touring the damage, San Lucas with 85-mile-an-hour winds. Airports are closed, but most hotels and businesses appear to have escaped any major damage. One after another, isn't it?
It's that time of year. It is a very busy time.
It's your turn to go. It's your turn to go.
I said I wanted to be out there. Jessica, of course, back from the East Coast. You got to cover Isabel. And
What a
tell
bonus.
us, tell
You
us
did a great
quickly
job.
about it. Yeah, you did a great job. Actually, don't tell us about it, because then you'd have to listen to you and now I get my chance to ask you about how your experience was covering the hurricane.
It was a great experience, tiring, but a great experience. It was fun. We weren't in the area that was hit by the eye of the hurricane. Obviously, we were in Atlantic City, New Jersey, so it's tropical storm warning, but still 70-mile-per-hour winds. So it was fun. Next time is your shot. Next time is your shot. Mark wants to go so badly.
I do. I mean, those things are fun, meteorologically speaking.
People do wonder why people stand out there and have the wind just beating them up the whole time. You know?
We're a little demented as a profession.
Well, okay, we'll be back here on 12 News at 6.
Dozens gather tonight to remember the victims of a deadly tavern robbery.
Who provides security out here?
Don't know.
Find out who's in charge of keeping you safe at the State Fair, from the rides to the cream puffs.
I played 9 years with the Green Bay Packers.
And a former Packer enters the Football Hall of Fame, while the green and gold gear up for their first preseason game of the year.
Good evening, I'm Jessica Jallings.
And I'm Mike Miller. It's a big night for Packer news. For the first time in decades, the Green Bay Packers have a former player in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
And the Packers preseason premiere right here on WISN 12 is just hours away. Let's go live to 12 Sports Director Dan Needles. He is in Canton, Ohio. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Jessica. Dan Needles, WISN 12 Sports. Jessica?
All right, Dan, we'll see you in just a bit. Again, the Green Bay Packers kick off the preseason right here on WISN 12. Pre-game starts tomorrow at 6:30 and kickoff is at 7. Join us tomorrow night when the Pack face the Kansas City Chiefs in the Hall of Fame game. Well, other than a little rain, the Wisconsin State Fair is about to complete its first weekend without any major problems.
And that's mainly because of the many safety precautions they have in place out there. Action 12's Kent Wainscott joins us.
New at 10, a vigil for 2 men shot to death in a Racine bar. Angela Wiggins and Donald Silvers were killed last Monday while the bar was being robbed. Bartender Linda Petz was seriously injured. Members of the victims' families were there tonight. More violence aimed at Milwaukee teenagers. 2 teens are recovering after being shot overnight. 6 children have been shot in Milwaukee in just the past 2 weeks. The most recent shooting happened near 48th and Fond du Lac. Another overnight shooting left 1 man dead. It happened inside a bar at 13th and Maple in Milwaukee just before 1:30 this morning. No word what led to the shooting, and no one is in custody. The victim's name has not been released. Chicago's Midway Airport had a security breach that shut down 3 terminals last night. A female passenger passed through the automated metal detector, but she did not get checked with a handheld wand device. When security officials realized the mistake, they couldn't find the woman. There's a new audio tape believed to be from Al-Qaeda, and it threatens the United States. The tape, which is said to be from one of Osama bin Laden's top deputies, aired on Arab television today. The tape says that if any harm comes to Muslims being held at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, the U.S. will suffer. A Louisiana minister wants his church to be more diverse, something he's actually willing to pay for. The Full Gospel Baptist Church is predominantly black, but today was different. There were some white faces. That is because the bishop paid the white people to be there. That's right. Fred Caldwell offered each white person $5 per hour to attend the services. Caldwell is paying them out of his own pocket, and here's why. Americans spend millions of dollars a year trying to quit smoking. Now researchers at UW-Madison are working on a vaccine to dull the effects of nicotine on the brain. It's called NicVax, and so far tests show it stops most of the nicotine from reaching the brains of laboratory rats. Testing on humans will be done at UW-Madison, the University of Minnesota, and the University of Nebraska. Well, most pet owners would say their animals deserve the very best, but is this going too far?
A bowl of purified, enriched dog water? Reporter Mike Delostreto says canines are lapping up that new luxury liquid, and the container doubles as a toy. And the makers of dog water plan to expand the line soon to include puppy water. Because, of course, puppies have different nutritional needs.
Right.
They can't just drink out of the toilet like the one lady said.
After a long day at the dog spa, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Dog water.
Wow.
Well, you like the fact, though, it doubles as a toy.